Hello Plymouth, Luke Pollard here. It's been 2 years since I was first elected as your MP, and the time has flown by. As someone who was born in Plymouth and who lives in our great city, I'm very proud to represent you. It's been a whirlwind in that time. There's lots been happening, and I want to take you on a quick snapshot of what I've been doing as your MP. I've tried to focus all my energies on the issues that really matter to Plymouth. That includes Brexit, but it also includes much more besides. This is a problem. They are awaiting government action. Will the Prime Minister help unblock the £300 million upgrade from fighting for our fair share in health and education, transport and defence? Successive governments have let Plymouth down and let the South West down. When I was elected, I said I would give Plymouth its voice back in Parliament, and that's exactly what I've done. I've benchmarked my speaking against the other two Plymouth MPs. In the last 2 years, I've spoken in 225 debates, and I've mentioned Plymouth 6 times more than the other two Tory MPs combined. In the last 2 years, my brilliant team of caseworkers have helped people in the patch I represent gain over £400,000 back by making new applications for benefits on their behalf or by challenging incorrect decisions from HMRC and the Department for Work and Pensions. We've had amazing campaign wins, from getting the government to fund the removal of the dangerous combustible Grenfell-style cladding on the Mount Wise tower blocks to securing the basing of the Type 26 frigates in Devonport. We've helped save HMS Albion and HMS Bulwark from Tory cuts, and we've launched the campaign to recycle the old nuclear submarines tied up at Devonport. I've also put pressure on ministers to secure the long-term basing arrangements of the Royal Marines in Plymouth. I want to focus my comments on the Royal Marines base in Stonehouse in Plymouth. In 2016, it was announced that this historic and spiritual home of the Royal Marines would close in 2023. But 3 years on, we're still not certain where the Royal Marines will be moving to when Stonehouse Barracks close. Exactly a year ago today, I opened my new office in Frankfurt Gate. I'm the first ever Plymouth MP to have an office in the city centre, so you can walk in and get help from me and my team. I've launched a campaign to raise a statue to Nancy Astor, the first ever woman to take her seat in the House of Commons, who is a Plymouth MP. I've also been campaigning to protect our marine environment, which is in crisis and in urgent need of our help. I proposed to create the UK's first ever national marine park in Plymouth Sound, and in December, Plymouth City Council, who now run that campaign, having handed over from my office, launched a prospectus that sets out our vision for how we do that. I've launched 2 sets of white papers that you can download on my website, lukepollard.org, providing a platform for Plymouth's best and brightest to set out their thoughts. In Parliament, I've led 2 debates about the GP crisis in Plymouth, and next week I'll be meeting with the Minister for Primary Care, where I'll be bringing Plymouth's GPs to make the case to her for better funding for our city. We will also be asking the Minister to support the creation of super health hubs, which we know can give a positive effect to our health services. The ongoing issues with universal credit have not gone away. Could the Prime Minister confirm that she recognises this problem and will act to ensure that people don't need to find an extra week's rent or go into debt because of this entirely predictable universal credit fault? We all know that Brexit is a mess. It's costing a lot more, it's taking a lot longer, and it's a lot more complicated than we were promised it would be in 2016. That's why, in the last 2 years, I've held 9 open public meetings on Brexit, which over 1,100 people have attended. Plymouth has diverse views, and I always listen to all viewpoints on Brexit. I was pleased to see jobs at Barden have been saved thanks to the cross-party efforts and the efforts of the City Council, and I've been fighting against the cuts proposed by Tory ministers to our regions and in favour of better connectivity on road and rail for the South West. Will the government also announce that we'll have doorless-proof trains by moving the HSTs onto the cross-country franchise? In Plymouth, I've launched a campaign to save Peveril Library with local councillors and helped get Southern Harbour Footbridge reopened. Since being elected, I've also held a dozen roundtables in Plymouth on issues as wide ranging as universal credit, sexual health, homelessness, education and much more besides. I'm very proud to be a Janner, very proud to be from Plymouth, and I won't stop fighting for our city to get its fair share. When I was elected, I said I would give Plymouth its voice back. That's exactly what I've done over the last 2 years, and that's exactly what I'll continue to do every day that I'm your Member of Parliament. Thanks very much, Plymouth. See you soon.